Good evening, you fantastic and glorious degenerates of this floating rock that we call Earth. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Off the Wire with the Cajun Libertarian, aka Noello, and I am your host. Tonight we have an absolutely incredible episode, completely stacked. Let's go over a couple of the topics. Stochastic terrorism, in quotes, the unmentionable, in quotes. I hope you know what that means. Gain of function research. I mean, how much more of this are we going to go through? And a short segment with a very, very, very special in-person guest. And we love to have you here. So thank you so much. There's already 7 comments. We haven't even barely gotten started yet. Please comment. Please share this show. Hit the like button. Share it with your friends because word of mouth is still the absolute best avenue for success with any business. Like, share, subscribe. I'm on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and basically anywhere you can get your podcast. So let's get into some of the most controversial topics of the day next on Off the Wire with Noello Lynn, a.k.a. the Cajun Libertarian, right now. Yes. Welcome back to Off the Wire with me, your host, Noello Lynn, the Cajun Libertarian. Please let me know if there's any audio issues, any video issues, anything that's going on. I've rearranged everything so I could have this very, very, very in-person special guest, and I cannot wait. So before we get to that, let's go to our sponsors because man, y'all make it happen. I don't get paid any money for doing this. This is all voluntary because I love liberty and I love the freedom that we so much enjoy and we so much desire. And we want to continue to push that individual liberty. So there's people like my sponsors that help make the show happen because it does require money and it does require time, massive amounts of time and massive amounts of effort and research and studying and spending time away from my family in order to be able to bring freedom and liberty, or at least spread the message, right? Spending everything I can on being able to talk to you and hopefully inspire people to go out in their communities and basically regurgitate the message of liberty and individual freedom. And so I can't thank my sponsors enough. They're absolutely amazing. They help me out. I've actually been able to pay bills just off of the fact that I have sponsors and people subscribe to the YouTube channel and my anchor.fm, which is in my Twitter profile. and it's free to you. I get 1 cent a download. I've barely been doing this and still get, you know, 40, $50 a couple of months to help pay bills because of that 1 cent a download. So please subscribe, hit the like, hit the share button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to anchor.fm. And now let's get into a couple of our sponsors just real fast. Gap Armory. Gap Armory carries a wide variety of parts and accessories. Whether you're looking for build kits for 3D printed firearms, optics, outstanding level 4 body armor, or anything in between, they have you covered. Gap Armory is libertarian owned and operated. They also accept Bitcoin. Gap Armory has the gear that you need to bridge the gap in your self defense preparedness. Get what you need today at gaparmory.com. That's GAPARMORY.com, gaparmory.com. And I will throw that up there real quick, gaparmory.com. So for those of you watching, you can see gaparmory.com. Also, and very important, another very much libertarian owned functioning operation, disto.com. I never know if I'm saying that right. Disto, DYSDO.com. That is another. I don't know what's going on here. I can't get this off my screen. What is going on? All right, there we go. DSYDO.com. It's a libertarian-owned t-shirt company with designs intended to start a conversation. Use code Cajun15, that's CAJUN15 for 15% off of your order at disto.com. DSYDO. Use Cajun15, that's CAGC. I did it again. CAJUN15.com. It's amazing. I'm wearing a shirt right now. It says, here, look, I'll spell it out for people that are going to be listening later, because most of the people that will listen later, thousands of people will listen later, quite literally. Go check my Twitter. It says, safe and effective is now sudden and unexpected. And there you go. They have a wide variety. This is just me going off the cuff here. They have a wide variety of absolutely excellent t-shirt, political t-shirts that are just amazing. Please go check them out. There's the link right there, DYSDO.com. Please go check them out. They're absolutely amazing. They sponsor the show. And that's what we have to do, y'all. I mean, just quite literally, just being honest. The movement cannot be supported on comments and shows alone, right? Because a lot of this stuff has to be funded. It just has to. Otherwise, people aren't going to spend their time on it. Now, I will. I absolutely will. 100%. But some people won't. And it's hard to fund this project. It really is. The dog wound up making its way in. That's pretty funny. I have a comment in the comment section that says, y'all are the best. I forgot the T. I was in a hurry. My bad. Get out of here, Callie. Go on now. Let's check some of your comments. April Hamilton, to be specific. Your video keeps zooming in out. That is weird. I don't know what to do about that. If anybody else is having issues with my my video stream, please let me know. If there's audio issues, please let me know. I had to rearrange my entire setup so that I could have my special in-person guest later in the episode, which will not be very far out. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Please share it. Word of mouth dominates the business realm. And if we really want to get this message out here, that's what we have to do. And it's just a click away. Just hit the share button, hit the like, comment, hit the love, comment, share it. That's I'm not asking you for any money. I don't want to ask anyone for any money because everybody is struggling right now with inflation through the roof. My God, I had to spend, I don't know, $200 to get a chicken coop set up because in the long run, I'd rather have chickens that give me eggs than continuously buy eggs from the market, which is like what, $3 $4 a carton right now. And that's being light on some of the areas that you live in. So please help it out, help spread the liberty movement. Chris Faulkner says, for $8 you can fix that best. That is a great comment. I will give that $8 to Twitter because Elon is releasing the political prisoners from that platform. I absolutely will. But I'm waiting. I'm trying to discover more and what exactly I can do with that platform. Even though Twitter is my main platform. So please go follow me on Twitter, the Cajun Libert one. I screwed up the first time and had my original, the Cajun Libertarian is not available. So it's the Cajun Libert. And instead of Liberty, just replace the Y with one or Noella Lynn. Now, we've gotten our sponsors out of the way. Don't forget to go check out gaparmory.com and disto.com. That's DSYDO.com. They have amazing shirts like this. Safe and Effective is now sudden and unexpected. I also have another shirt that says abolish the ATF. I have another one that I have several, right? Absolutely, absolutely amazing. So go check them out. All right. Pat Barnes says, no issues here. Amen. Thank God. Meme Aganda. Disable the autofocus. The camera is focusing on what is ever closer and trying to follow you. Excellent, excellent advice. Thank you so much. April Hamilton. This is a family show, so I will censor that comment. My chickens are little a-holes. LOL. They boycott laying eggs for a week at a time if I don't keep their coop the right temp. LOL. Oh man, that's funny. I've been through that before. So please, y'all, keep commenting, keep sharing, keep liking. It's amazing. Chris Faulkner says, Noel's World, party time, excellent. Amen. I love it. Now, let's get into that first story, right? I labeled them a little different, okay, because I want to make sure that we get into the right things at the right time. So let's first start off with the unmentionable. And now I can't find it. That's okay. I know it from heart. Not a big deal. All right. So the Washington Post came out today and they said that in August, 58% of the COVID deaths are in fact vaccinated people. Yes, you heard that right. That is the unmentionable. I hope YouTube doesn't strike me for this. It's Washington Post, YouTube. Okay. They're a verified source according to your standards, and that's what they said. 58% of the deaths in August due to COVID-19 related issues are people that are vaccinated. Horrible. Horrible. And we forced this on people. We forced it on people. It doesn't stop transmission. And now we clearly know, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, that it does not stop you from dying. I just talked to a customer of mine today. Anecdotal experience right here in front of your face. I don't care what you have to say, progressives and pro-COVID cultists. You are wrong. You're wrong. And you spread so much misinformation and disinformation that it's literally not helping people. I have to be careful with my words so that YouTube doesn't strike me. But you all know what I mean. When I say not helping people, quoting her today. She works in the medical industry. She left California because it's so destructive. Oh, by the way, she's a single black woman with several kids. Not that we try to make a big deal out of that, but the demographics of our society has been so implemented and structurally prioritized within the hierarchy of how we judge things that it has to be mentioned. That's y'all's fault, making everything about race and demographic. So now you have to eat it. You can shut your mouth and you can eat your words. A single black mother in her 50s, who's also a grandmother, left California because the Democrats absolutely destroyed it. Not that the Republicans would do much better, but they at least cause a little bit of less destruction in certain areas. She told me flat out, her job told her she has to get the jab and a flu shot every year and produce the evidence or she will get fired. And she works at home. This isn't a game. I'm not lying to you. This is straight out of the mouth of somebody that I consider a loved friend, even though she is a customer of mine. She is an amazing person. She literally gave me a Thanksgiving gift for taking care of her home and how I treat her. She literally has told me that it doesn't matter what company I work for, she will follow me to the end of time. Let that sink in. She was told she had to get the jab, 3 of them, 2 of the initial and the booster, or she would lose her job. That's real. And so she had to take the jab because what the hell else is she going to do? She's a single mother with multiple kids in the house and grandchildren. My God. And here we go. As we've told you since some of us for 2.5 years now, and then when they start talking about the vaccines, remember, don't let them memorial the fact that you will not be forced to get vaccinated. They said that, and they mocked and ridiculed every single one of us that said that that would not be true. You're just this goofy, ignorant, knuckle dragging Neanderthal. What did they do? They mandated the vaccine. Everything that you people, so-called conspiracy theorists, labeled us conspiracy theorists, have been right the entire time. Now, people are losing their livelihoods, and if they don't, they're forced to get a medical procedure that they don't freaking agree with. This is real. It's 100% real. And now it comes out that 58% of the COVID-related deaths in August from the Washington Post, YouTube, from the Washington Post. You can't knock me for what the Washington Post is saying. An entity of information that you deem legitimate. 58% of the deaths in August were from vaccinated people. That means the leading demographic of deaths due to COVID or with COVID, however you want to say it, is the vaccinated. This is absolutely remarkable in the most worst and destructive manner. It's incredible. Let me get to a couple of your comments because if I keep ranting, I'll go too long. So, April Hamilton says, best or beast? Yes, pick it. At this point, doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, a lot of y'all commenting back and forth. Please continue to do that. Please have your discussions in the comment section because it helps drive the algorithm and more people will see the show. That's incredible. Thank you so much for joining in and commenting, sharing, and liking and subscribing. Absolutely 1,000%. I'm not sure what Lone Wonder if he's responding to somebody, but I like this comment. 100. I support when the first time I can hear First time I was here, I was really expecting with a name like Cajun Libertarian more of a Justin Wilson accent. No, for real, you're doing bad. Work. Thank you, my brother. Justin Wilson is an absolute cooking king, the best. No, the accent, the Cajun accent, died with my grandfather, unfortunately. But he had a very thick accent, which most of you would have trouble understanding him. So, April says WAPO said WAPO being Washington Post. Okay, when we say WAPO, that means Washington Post for the people that don't know. Said COVID is no longer mainly a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Here's why. Yes, of course. And then again, it says meh, Darwinism. That's pretty funny. So, all right, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Now, everybody knows that the mainstream media, or look, don't call it the mainstream media. It's called corporate media, right? It is not mainstream. It is on a death nail or deathbed with a death nail because they're liars. They're propagandists. They're evil. And they refuse to tell the truth. They refuse to tell it. Instead, they will absolutely lie to your face with no evidence whatsoever, just to propagate a narrative that fits their agenda. Like I said in a tweet, follow me on Twitter, by the way. Noella Lynn, the Cajun Libert one. Follow me on Twitter. Specifically, this is what I said, and I'm pretty sure I can quote myself on this one. Let me see. Maybe I say I'm gonna quote myself. Maybe I'll look it up. But I'll say this. Basically, it is pretty much a quote. They literally, for one, they literally tried to paint this all as a right-wing issue. Okay, just pontificators on the right-wing conservative ideology, sparking the controversy and really kind of violent rhetoric, saying that what those people were saying actually instituted the attack on the gay club in Colorado Springs. They're calling it stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism does not exist. Stochastic terrorism is not a real thing. It is not. 100% full stop. And it is a danger and direct, it's a dangerous and direct threat to free speech and our individual rights. Full stop, it is. Stochastic terrorism means you're placing the blame on other people who had nothing to do with the act of violence that a single person did. It does not exist. It is not real. It is not. The only person that we put blame on purposefully and absolutely correctly is the shooter. The blame goes nowhere else. Full stop, period, end of discussion. Stochastic terrorism does not exist. The only person responsible for the shooting is the shooter. This is a direct and dangerous threat on free speech and individual liberty. Do not make this about anything else other than that. There's no way. Now let's talk about one reason why the absolute destruction of quote unquote mainstream media, which I call corporate media or legacy media, because they're not mainstream media. Mainstream media is now individual podcasts like this one that you tune into, comment, share, like, and subscribe to, which I appreciate very, very much. From Axios. Axios is a very left-leaning organization. Let's hear what they had to say when some of the news has just recently developed about the shooter in Colorado Springs who killed, I think, 5 people and 20-something. They're still not clearing the numbers. 20-something people are still injured. From Axios, Colorado club shooting suspect is non-binary, attorneys say. The public defenders for the suspect in the mass shooting at a Colorado Springs LGBTQ nightclub said in a Tuesday night court filing obtained by a New York Times reporter that their client is non-binary and uses they, them pronouns. Pay attention to what comes next, okay? Pay attention. The suspect, Anderson Lee Aldrich, who is 22, is facing multiple murder hate crime charges over the shooting at a Club Q last weekend that killed 5 people per Max Dionofrio, a city spokesperson. Probably did not pronounce his name right. That's okay. Aldrich was due to make their first. Listen to this. Listen. Aldrich was due to make their first court appearance via video link from jail Wednesday, according to the Denver Post. You have got to be kidding me. I'm done with this. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. You're telling me right now that a psychopath that shot up a freaking gay club or any club whatsoever comes out and identifies as they, them, and you're going to respect those pronouns from somebody who's a psychopath and a mass murderer? Get bent. I don't respect 1 second of these people. He's a psychopath. And you, right here in the article, are literally using the quote unquote pronouns he prefers, which, by the way, is long going. This isn't new. So when left wing media tries to tell you that, oh, he's just doing this to avoid hate crimes, that is absolutely 100% false. False. This has been years in the making. He changed his name and he's been doing this, or they've been. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to respect this person, this disgusting individual. F that. From the Hill, the alleged shooter, who authorities say killed 5 people and injured 18 others at a Colorado Springs LGBTQ nightclub, is non-binary, according to filings from their defense team. Public defenders referred to the suspect, 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich, as Mix Aldrich, meaning he doesn't want Mr. or Mrs., or it doesn't want Mr. or Mrs. But I don't care about your freaking pronouns. I don't. Kick rocks. Go deal with it. This is your issue to deal with. You are not going to demand that everybody in society calls you by a biological name that makes no freaking sense whatsoever. We're done with it, and this is a great why. This is a great why. You can kiss my ass. I am not for 1 second going to respect this psychotic, deranged individual's pronouns. But they're going to. So at first it was, this guy's a right-wing propagandist. He just consumes Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, all the other pontificators on the right, because they're speaking out against certain subject matters. Like they don't want to trans the kids. I agree with that. Sorry. No, kids do not have informed consent. They cannot be trans. They don't know. They're probably just gay, or they're just confused, or both. All right? Kick rocks. We're not transing the kids. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to stop talking about it, because you're not going to abuse children like this while we stand by and do nothing and say nothing about it. You can kick rocks. All right? But the fact of the matter is that left-wing media tried to paint all of the, right-wing conservative pontificators, which I am not one. Everybody knows I'm not a conservative. I'm a libertarian. How can you place blame on all those people? It does not work that way. Individual responsibility. The only person responsible for the shooting is the shooter. It doesn't matter what media he had consumed. He was the one that decided to go and murder people, innocent people. Period. Aldrich previously used the name Nicholas Franklin Brink until 2016. So in 2016, he changed his name. So don't come at me about this is some new development that he's trying to get out of a hate crime. He's been doing this for a long time. Aldrich previously used the name Nicholas Franklin Brink until 2016, but petitioned a Texas court for a name change weeks before they turned 16 from the Hill. So they're even respecting this psychopath, mass murdering person, respecting their pronouns. My God, what earth is this right now? No effing way. No way. I don't care how much your feelings are hurt. I don't care how much you're offended. Get over it. Grow up. We're not playing these dumbass games. Nicholas Franklin Blake, until 2016, but petitioned a Texas court for a name change weeks before he turned 16. The defense said Aldrich requested the name change to protect himself from a father who reportedly had a criminal history that included domestic violence against his mom. Aldrich was arrested last year after their mother reported that but I'm going to say he, threatened her with a bomb and other weapons. This is just insane. And I'm done. I'm done. It's insane. It's absolutely psychotic. All right? Absolutely psychotic. And I don't care who's offended. I am not going to respect anything at all, including pronouns and anything else, from somebody who shot up a nightclub and killed 5 people and injured at least 22 and counting. You people are psychotic. You're insane. And you're disgusting. And you're 100% at fault for the destruction of this society. I was going to say the society of America, but you understand what I'm saying. This society. And I'm done with it. You're not. No. This game is over. And this case right here proves it. Proves it. It's over. Your game was always insane. And now we've got evidence of it. Done. Let's get to a couple of your comments real quick, and then we'll get on to the next segment. The lunatic libertarian says, "Off the wire? ? New show ? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rebranding, my friend. Rebranding. For whatever reason, you guys have picked this show up. It's massively successful. And so I want to rebrand a few things so that I don't hit any ceilings, and so that we can keep going and we can spread the message specifically of individual liberty, regardless of your politics. So I'm crushing the ceiling due to any sort of names within the show, be it Cajun, be it libertarian, be it my own name. I don't want any ceilings. So we're moving on to Off the Wire, my friend. And thank you for the question, because I really wanted to explain that. It looks like most of you are kind of going back and forth at each other. I love it. Keep going. More comments. More comments. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I can't. I'll take that. They're going to say now that his upbringing and anti-gay daddy issues is why he shot up the bar. But really, it's mental health conditions left unchecked. Yeah, that plus it was, he was on the FBI's radar. Lunatic libertarian. Cajun is on fire. Thank you, my friend. I'm passionate about this. I care about this because we're looking at the destruction of America in real time. And I'm not joking about that. And if you think that's a game, then I got news for you. You will be a victim of this. April Hamilton, preach it, man. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I will continue to do so. All right, let's get on to our next segment, and then we'll get on to our very, very, very special guest. Now, we've spent 2+ years of COVID tyranny, the unmentionable, okay? 2 years. 2+ years. How did we get here? Let me explain. Forbes. Gain of function experiments at Boston University create a deadly new coronavirus 19. New COVID-19 virus. Who thought this was a good idea? I'm quoting them. I'm reading them. All right. This isn't a joke. This was at Boston University. And this was very, very recent. Hold on one second. Christopher, I'm thinking the special guest is going to be his dog. No, Callie will not be the special guest, although she is fantastic. She is a half breed pit bull and Labrador, and she's the smartest dog I've ever met. It's insane. It's crazy how smart she is. Love her. She is incredible. Anyway, no, it's not the dog. Let's get back to the story. Gain of function experiments at Boston University create a new deadly coronavirus 19, COVID 19 virus. Who thought this was a good idea? Says Forbes. And who on earth could disagree with that question? What the F are we doing? This isn't the only one, by the way. There's multiple studies, multiple researches coming from this. Have we learned nothing? Have we learned that we literally, if you think that COVID 19 was released from a bat soup in Wuhan, then you're nothing less than an absolute moron. You're a moron. Level 4 virology lab in Wuhan. Gain of function research funded by the United States government. Checks cut and written by Dr. Anthony Fauci, the greatest bureaucratic tyrant the United States has ever seen. Hands down. Full stop. He deserves prison for life. Nothing less. Prison behind bars, hard labor until he freaking chokes on his own spit and dies miserably in a jail cell. Nothing less. After all the controversy of the past few years about gain-of-function research on viruses, especially the COVID-19 viruses, I thought this kind of work was on hold, at least in the United States. Remember, this is from Forbes. Indeed, the controversy grew so hot that the NIH issued a statement in May of 2021 declaring that it wouldn't support such work. Nonetheless, some scientists continue to pursue gain-of-function research, and a new study just released on the preprint server BioRxiv, a group of virologists at Boston University did the following. They took the spike protein from the Omicron, I always want to call it Omicron BA1 strain of SARS-CoV-2. That's the strain that spread throughout the world last winter, often slipping past the protection offered by vaccines. I'll stop there because you know what I mean. Often slipping past the protection offered by vaccines. What protection? What protection? Don't mess with me, YouTube. It's a valid question. There is none. And combined it with an early 2020 strain of the COVID-19 virus. So they took the I just started to say Omnicorn. They took the Omicron variant and then coupled it with the Alpha strain at Boston University. Was it more deadly? You bet! Exclamation mark. In their experiments, the BU scientists the Boston University scientists infected laboratory mice with the original Omicron virus, which caused, quote, mild, non-fatal infection. But when they infected mice with their new recombinant virus, which they called Omi-S, 80% of the mice died. To quote from their article, the Omicron S-carrying virus inflicts severe disease with a mortality rate of 80%. Oh, it's so maddening. What are you thinking? What are you doing? A deadly mortality rate of 80%. And it gets worse. Listen, it gets worse. Quote, making matters worse, the researchers found that the new recombinant virus also replicated much faster in mice. Quote, Omi-S infected mice produced 30-fold more infectious virus particles compared with Omicron infected mice. Yes, you read that right. Omi-S might grow 30 times faster than the garden variety of the Omicron strain. real. And this is what we're literally, hey, let me remind you, you pay for this. You're paying for it. This is your money. This is your tax dollars via extortion at the threat of violence with a gun pointed at your head. If you don't pay this absolutely corrupt, criminal, and disgustingly evil federal government, your money that you earn yourself, you get to pay for research like this that has literally spread through the world and caused massive damage on multiple platforms, including but not limited to death via coronavirus, including but not limited to a supply chain crisis that we're literally looking at right now. That's global famine that could shut down the world. So they're expecting an extra 100 million people to starve to death this winter because we have such a supply chain crisis, and we literally crushed the economy. Let me be perfectly clear here. We have barely begun to scratch the surface of the economic consequences that we're about to face from the dumbass decisions of gain of function research, and we're still doing it. And we're doing it at a much worse rate and level. It's maddening. This is what we mean by, quote, gain of function research. The scientists took sequences from 2 different strains of the COVID-19 virus, one of which was relatively mild, and created a new strain that is far more infectious and far more deadly. Let me read that again. This is what we mean by gain of function research. The scientists took sequences from 2 different strains of the COVID-19 virus, one of which was relatively mild, and created a new strain that is far more infectious and far more deadly. As many scientists and others have pointed out, research like this carries great risks. Foremost among them, the chance that an accidental lab leak could create a new pandemic, killing millions of people. What the F are you doing? Shut it down and do it now. Are there benefits? There must be some pretty major benefits to offset this risk, right? Well, not exactly, says Forbes. The researchers say that these experiments show that the pathogenicity. I think I read that wrong. I'm sorry. The researchers say that these experiments show that the pathogenicity of the COVID pathogenicity. Sorry, first day reading that word. Anyway, pathogenicity. Look it up. It's a good word. Good definition, by the way. Of the COVID virus is determined primarily by something other than the spike protein. Let me read that again. The researchers say that these experiments show that the pathogenicity of the COVID virus is determined primarily by something other than the spike protein. That's a pretty narrow finding, and the authors don't seem to consider that they might have learned this without creating an entirely new and more lethal virus. Unreal. So they created a much more deadly virus that's absolutely incredibly far beyond and much more transmissible than any COVID strain that we have, and they found absolutely nothing through the research. They found that it was primarily other than the spike protein. That's a pretty narrow finding, and the authors don't seem to consider that they might have learned this without creating an entirely new and more lethal virus. It goes on to say that basically the NIH and the NIAID do not support such work, and it says it multiple times in the article about how they don't support the work of gain of function research. Well, sorry if I have a few questions about that, considering that you literally have supported gain of function research, which is why now literally millions of people have died with COVID due to gain of function research. I said that wrong, even though it's factually 100% correct. I'll probably get struck on YouTube for that because YouTube is probably still saying that the COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 was contracted originally in bat soup. Get the out of here. Nobody believes that. We all know it's 100% false. Kick rocks. If you strike me, you strike me. Whatever. I mean, this is ridiculous. Let me get to a couple of your comments real quick, even though I think most of y'all are just talking to each other, which I love. That's incredible. Comments drive the algorithm. Let's see right here. Dave Davis. Don't forget the WHO, World Health Organization. For those of you who don't know, but everybody that watches this show is probably more informed and just as intelligent as I am. I like to spell it out for the people that will be watching and listening later who are just now joining the team of being red pilled about how disgustingly evil the United States government is. Don't forget that the World Health Organization suggested it. One, wasn't a pandemic. Two, didn't originate in a lab. And three, we better not offend China. Fantastic point. Fantastic point. April says you froze, Noel. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. I'm sorry. So it just is what he does. So in order to lone person, lone wonder all boo, no doggo, boo, laughing faces, no dogs. April says dogs are the best co-host! Exclamation point. Yeah, I love it. That's great. Nope, no dogs. This has been a long episode, says Patricia. Really? It's only 47 minutes. I try to keep them under an hour, and we will be right at an hour. So, without further ado, I'm going to wait. One more comment. April says, read foreign media reported it accurately. United States media denies it. If you can read Hebrew, read the Israeli Times. Oh, man, the Israelis did a phenomenal study. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, let's get to our very, very, very special guest for the evening as we close out the show. All right, come on. Yes, indeed. So this is my 14-year-old daughter. Tell everyone your name, where you're from, all that.
I'm Jaden Oland, obviously. I'm from Biloxi or Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Can't ever remember.
Ocean Springs.
Yeah, Ocean Springs. Don't pay much attention, but yeah.
Good deal. So you are, in fact, in public school, yes?
Yep.
How do you like public school?
Well, I don't like school in general, so it's okay. It's not that great, but.
And you spent, what, a year in homeschool?
I did, yeah.
Which was better?
I'd say personally homeschooling because I don't have to deal with people, and I'm not really one for people again.
Why is that?
Just a lot of people in the public school that I go to aren't the nicest or greatest people out there.
Well, you're not wrong there. Hey, look, I'm going to leave the microphone right here. We're going to kind of lean into it, speak into it. If there's any audio issues, let me know, and I'll go back to switching between the two. So I thought this was very important to bring her on. For one, she wanted to, and she's my daughter, so she gets special treatment. That is what it is. Sorry. The other is I think it's very important to hear from the youth and what they're actually talking about. It's working. Both sound good. Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. I wanted to hear from her and what's going on with the inner circles of the youth in America. Now, she lives in the deep South, so things are going to be a little bit swayed, right? We're sorry if you get offended by this, but we're not in a blue state, so we're not psychotic. We're in a red state, which is more free, even though I'm not a Republican. Do I like the Republicans?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Do I like the Democrats?
No.
Do I like the Republicans?
No.
Okay. All right. But
Yes,
hey, in a red state, you're much more freer, especially after COVID. I'm so sorry that's the low freaking bar that we have to set, that you weren't tyrannically locked down in your house with your business shut down. That's the bar now. So red states didn't do it. Blue states did. This is amazing. This is America, and this is the state that we live in right now. The difference between tyrannically locking you in your house and closing your business or not is the standard that we've somehow set in America. All right. Anyway, uh, April says, I love your daughter. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
me too.
you.
Chris says, nepotism. Yeah, that's what happens, brother. Nepotism is when you favor your family. You give special treatment to your family.
My friend's on here.
Nice. April says, listen to our youth. Which one is your friend?
Couldn't find user. Right there. The one. with
Couldn't
the-
find user is my wife's friend. Or my wife.
Hi, Jada.
My daughter.
You couldn't-
Oh, that's weird. Oh God, that's bad.
That really
All right.
scares
Couldn't find user. 3 American flags.
me.
Your daughter looks very sweet. Well, you know her, and she is. She's remarkable. She's very intelligent, and so we're gonna.
Because I
There's
love
so
you, Jada.
so
why
many
it scares you.
comments. So I can't get to all your comments. I'm sorry. Couldn't find user says, "Why did you expose me?" Haha. Excellent. All right. So let's listen to the youth and what they have to say. All right. So first of all, in school, what do you know about the government?
Um.
Speak loud and speak it to the mic.
Well, it's not a question. They make laws.
How old are you?
14.
What grade are you in?
8th.
And what do you know about the government?
That they make laws and they keep us from being murdered.
What are the 3 branches of government?
Executive, judicial, and Congress.
Pretty much, yeah. Executive, judicial, and legislative.
Oh, yeah, that's a word.
Legislative is Congress. So you're not wrong,
Right.
right? So in the legislative branch, what do they do?
That's the Senate and the House, I think it is.
That's correct. Yeah, you're very good. House of Representatives, Senate and House of Representatives. That's Congress. What do they do?
Voting, I think. I don't remember. I don't think we learned that.
So the legislative branch makes laws. Congress compromise of the House of Representatives and the Senate. So the legislative branch makes the laws.
Oh, right.
What does the executive branch do?
I honestly have no clue. We
You
didn't
don't have
talk
any
much
clue.
about that.
You don't talk much about that?
No.
All right. The executive branch carries out laws. President, vice president, cabinet, most federal agents. What does the judicial branch do?
That's judges and like the main person of the court, I think.
Supreme Court and other courts. Basically, yeah, judges. You're right. So what I wanted to highlight real quick, is how horrible, and you already know this, how horrible our education system is. We have somebody spamming in the comments. New site with hot girls. If I have a administrator in the page, please ban that person. I'm not going to deal with that. We're not going to do porn. We don't do porn. Porn is disgusting. It's horrible. It's degenerative. And my daughter's laughing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. It's funny. Sorry about the singing crocodile in the comments.
Yeah, singing crocodile from my daughter's friend. So, hey, look, this is how it's going to go. We're not going to be here much longer. We're at 54 minutes. I really want to highlight how much this is what our school, and a lot of you know this, right? Literally, our homeschooled kids know more about the government. Now, she doesn't live with me because this is my pre-Jesus days. So when I got divorced, she lives with her mom. The homeschool kids know more about the government than a public school student. Sink that in. Let that sink in, Elon Musk. All right, so let's move on. What are the main topics that you and your friends talk about? And be quick. 60 seconds.
We talk about rhythm
Speak
games.
loud and into the mic, please.
We talk about rhythm games a lot. Like Project Sakai, and that's about it. A lot of games and stuff.
A lot of games.
Yeah, like video games, like Mario.
Do y'all talk about the current culture of America at all?
What do you mean by that?
Like the culture, what the situation that involves the country and where we're moving. Basically, culture means what your society incentivizes, right? So if the society is incentivizing kids exploring gender ideology or not, or if the culture incentivizes children being raised in more of a Judeo-Christian value. I'm using two extremes there, right? But it's kind of where we shifted because for a long time, America was centered and our culture was centered around Judeo Christian values. And that's how we set our society. Everybody had what we called a shared reality, right? We all knew that X, Y, and Z were bad. Like, pedophilia was bad. Murdering people was bad, regardless of the cause, all that kind of stuff. And now we kind of switched. Y'all talk about that at all?
No, not really.
What is y'all's focus?
I don't really know. I don't know
No, I
what you
mean the
mean by
focus of
that.
your topics. What is
Oh,
your friends and your culture that you dwell in? What do y'all focus on?
trying not to be sad all the time, I guess. Oh.
What makes you sad?
Um.
Don't be nervous. It's fine.
No,
You're
somebody
good.
typed Mario in the chat, and I thought it was funny
Yeah, you're good.
because sad Mario. Um. I guess people in school who are just horrible people.
What are they doing to make you sad?
Well, a recent thing that happened was that somebody harassed me, and that made me really uncomfortable and such.
Was that the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago?
I don't remember.
Is it something that you want to talk about on air?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Well, tell us what happened.
Well, he would touch me and stuff, and I did not like it after I told him to stop, and I would like swat his hand away and everything. So in the end, I had to report him and everything. But this was recent that I think it was last week that I ended up doing that. But he pretty much just touched me a lot, and it made me really uncomfortable, and it made me have a lot of issues with how I looked and everything, and just all of that stuff. So
How did you react? Were you forcefully and were you aggressively saying no?
I wouldn't say I was like aggressive with it, but I was like assertive enough for him to try and back off, but he still wouldn't.
Okay.
I wasn't being like, hey, I don't really like that. I'd be like, hey, stop that. I don't like that. But even then, he still wouldn't.
All right. Well, if that happens again, you punch him in the mouth. And then when they try to say something, you call me. I don't. Sorry. Was not expecting that live on the air.
Sorry.
Yes. You punch him in the mouth and then you call me.
Okay. And get expelled. Probably.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okie dokie then.
You do not ever, under any circumstances, allow the opportunity for it to happen again. You punch him in the mouth, you slap him, you rip his hand away, and then you call authorities and you call me. That cannot ever be acceptable. He needs to understand 100% that he is not allowed to do that. And I consider that an act of violence. If somebody's inappropriately touching you, you have full self-defense in that manner. You can respond with violence because you are acting in self-defense. And I'll die on that hill. All right? Okay. What do you know about Abraham Lincoln?
He freed slaves. He was a president.
Speak loud and into the microphone.
Yeah. He freed the slaves. He was a president. He's really, really famous, and he still is.
Do
A
they
lot of people liked him.
do they teach him as admirable and honorable,
Yeah, I'd
a
say so.
beacon of liberty and freedom?
Yeah.
So they did not teach you the fact that he said that if he could end the war without ending slavery, he would?
No,
They never taught you that?
we haven't learned anything about
That's
him.
a quote from him. He said that if he could end the war and keep slavery, he would. Did you know that he suspended habeas corpus? Do you know what habeas corpus is?
No.
Habeas corpus is the right to a fair and speedy trial. Basically, habeas corpus means that the government or any state cannot hold you as a prisoner of said state without you getting a fair and speedy trial. Meaning they can arrest you for anything they think you may have done and never give a legitimate answer as to why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you now why habeas corpus is so paramount in our society? Because if the state can just arrest you for anything that they want to and never give a legitimate answer and just hold you for whatever reason they feel like, that is Gestapo stuff. That is tyrannical. Abraham Lincoln was, in fact, a tyrant. And no, he was not a good president. And no, he did not technically end slavery. Do your friends talk about sexuality and gender ideology? We're at an hour, so we're about to wrap this up.
All right. We talk about sexualities. So
what kinds?
More of the basic ones or such.
What are the basic sexualities?
Well, this is just from a personal aspect, but I say there's like 3 different layers of sexuality. So like the more of known ones would be like bisexual, gay, lesbian, queer, and pansexual and stuff like that. And then the second layer would be like the more unknown ones that not everyone knows about: demisexual, asexual, omnisexual. And then there's the third layer, which I don't think is really considered sexuality, such as like anime sexual or food sexual or stupid stuff like that.
And you don't consider those legitimate?
The third layer, no, not really.
But
They're more of just people being cringy.
But you consider the first and second layer legitimate?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
14.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 8th.
This is in the deep south. This is what our children at 14 years old in the 8th grade are talking about. So spare me your vain outrage over the fact that our kids should not be listening to this. Kick rocks. There's no effing way in any sane country or universe that a 14-year-old in 8th grade should be knowing this on demand. We did not talk about it. She knows none of these questions. None of them whatsoever. I did not show her any of this. She just regurgitated that out in real time. 14, 8th grade, sexual. Not saying she's sexual. But
no.
Excuse me, our children's minds are being perverted. Why can't she be allowed to just live an innocent life as a child until we effing adults and morons ruin it for her? Now we're ruining it at an unprecedented age. And I don't care how much you're mad about it. This is sick and disgusting. We once talked before, and you were saying that trans boys could just take puberty blockers and it would be fair in sports. Do you still stand by that?
Sorry, repeat the question again.
We once talked before, and you were saying that trans boys could just take blockers and it would be fair in sports. Do you still stand by that?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't really know. I,
Did you know that there's a drug in puberty blockers? It's the same drug that we use to castrate child molesters.
I did know that.
You did?
Hmm.
You knew that the drug that's in the puberty blockers is the same one that we use to castrate sex offenders.
I did know that.
So, would you support kids getting that drug?
I suppose not without their consent. It would not be.
What do you mean without their consent?
I
The
mean,
children.
right. But I'm not saying like a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old or anything like that. After about 14 or 15, I think that would be a more of you ask them what they want, more of their decision.
At 14 and 15 years old, they can't buy cigarettes.
Well,
They can't buy beer. They can't join the military. They can't rent a car.
right.
But they're okay. But you're okay with them taking a drug that we use to chemically castrate sex offenders.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
What I meant is it would be their decision to.
Yes.
But you would still have to have all the legal things for it. Like they would probably have to sign a waiver, or their parents would. Their parents would have to sign off on it and everything. But after 18, I'd say free reign.
So why can't we just do that?
Do what?
Just cut it off. 18 years old, you can go do what you want. You want to take puberty blockers, which you won't need anymore because you're not in puberty, but you can go do. That's the thing, Jaden. That's what I'm talking about. Puberty blockers are while you're in puberty. We're talking about basically you right now. If you were told that you are transgender, you are not the sex that you were born as, you would be okay with a parent and a doctor signing off on giving you a drug that we use to chemically castrate sex offenders.
No.
That's the correct answer. So we shouldn't make exceptions just because it's controversial and just because you might offend somebody's feelings. We cannot, under any circumstances, make exceptions for this. When you're 18, you can make those decisions. And like we talked about earlier, even at 18 years old, your frontal cortex is not fully developed. That doesn't fully develop until you're 26, 27 years old. I'm not advocating that we ban this stuff until you're 26, 27 years old. But I'm saying with advice, education, and inspiration and love and care, we should prevent these people that have gender dysphoria, as to the best of our ability, to wait as long as possible until their brain is fully developed, until they fully well know. And then, look, you're an adult. You want to do that stuff when you're an adult? Go ahead. That's fine. You can do that. They're not imposing anything on anybody else. That's their decision. They're not hurting anybody. That's who they feel like they are. That's their decision. But under no circumstances should we be doing this to children, which you are still one. I know you hate that, but you are still a child. This is all based on informed consent. And right now, sitting in this chair in this moment, learning some of this stuff in real time, do you feel informed?
Yeah.
You feel informed right now. Previous to this conversation, if somebody would have told you you're transgender, you need to take puberty blockers, and then eventually maybe get a double mastectomy so that you can turn into a boy before you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
You just admitted that you didn't even know what was in the drugs. How can you give informed consent?
I did say I knew what's in the drugs.
So you're saying that you have the ability to give informed consent, full well knowing that some of the stuff that we just talked about, you didn't know.
I never said I knew all of it, but I knew that there was the drug in it.
Okay, granted, you did say that. You knew that. Informed consent encompasses everything. That means you are informed. Informed consent. How in the world could you do that? Also, there's no way you can have informed consent if we're saying, literally in our society, that you're not informed enough to vote. You're not informed enough to smoke cigarettes. You're not informed enough to drink alcohol or join the military. Those are legal laws. It's legalities. Am I wrong?
I guess not.
But you're saying that as somebody at 14, 15 years old is informed enough to change their gender and permanently
No.
mess them
Well,
up?
technically, I did say that. But
Stand by. Be unapologetic. There's a reason that we have informed consent laws. That's because children and the youth, which you would be labeled as youth, are not informed. Even if you had all of the knowledge that I do, which I try to give to you every time you're here. Don't forget, this is a product of divorce. It's disgusting. I hate it. It's my fault 100%. Probably not 100%. I'm not the one that filed for divorce. But anyway, leaving that all aside, I don't have her full time. There's no way, even if you were with me full time and you knew everything that I know about this stuff, which you have admitted multiple times that me as a 39-year-old father of 3 knows more about this than you do, because I do. And you recognize that. And that's excellent maturity on your part. It's maturation at its fullest, and growing. There's no way that children and youth can have informed consent, because you are going to, and we talked about this at lunch, you're going to change. You're going to change whether you like it or not. The things that you like now are going, and you've noticed this pattern already. Just recognize it. Look in the past. There are things that you were deep off into that you thought you loved, and then you dropped it. And now you're off into other things. That is going to continue to change. Why? Because you are going to continue to change. And I hope to God and I pray that I can do my job to the best of my ability to get you informed so that you can consent to all of the right decisions that further the happiness and success of your life. You've done an excellent job tonight. This is the first time you've ever done anything like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
In front of a live audience that's going to be viewed by thousands of people. So, if you don't mind, give her credit in the comments. I think she's absolutely built for this. She's done a great job. Fantastic. She says no. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for coming on. Look, she wanted to do this. This is nothing that I coerced her into doing. She wanted to do this. This is her choice. So, y'all are all up in the comments. I love it. Thank you so much. Henry says, LOL, I love teenager certainty. Oh, it changes by the day, right? Let me check a couple of your comments. We're about a minute. We're an hour and 15 in this, so we got to get off of here. I got to. Chris, Lincoln was a scumbag. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. April says, yes, Daddy, teach her right. I'm trying. I am trying. I do what I can when I can. And the great thing about our relationship is that even though I don't get her all the time, I've been able to cultivate an atmosphere of trust within our relationship. So much so that when she was 11 years old, she came to me and she said, Daddy, I think I'm bisexual. And I said, Jaden, you're none of that. You have no idea what you are. You're 11. 11. She came to me and thought she was bisexual. And now in real time on a live setting at 14, you're watching her regurgitate all of the talking points from the left. And she lives in a deep red state. By the way, there's no such thing as stochastic terrorism. There's not. There's not. Whoever's responsible for their violence, they're the ones responsible and nobody else, period, full stop. So you can come at me all you want for this episode of speaking out against transing the children, because I always will, because it's psychotic and these people have their entire lives to live. Imagine giving her puberty blockers and a double mastectomy, and that crap is happening right now. They're ruined for life. And then people are coming out as detransitioners and they're speaking out against it. They're talking about how their life has been absolutely ruined from decisions that they made when they were children and youth that they didn't have informed consent over, and they can never go back. They never can go back. They're sterile, they're surgically cut up, and now they're ruined for life, and it's been destructive. It's destroyed their whole life. And what is the left doing? What are the progressives doing? They're absolutely shaming detransitioners. That is a massive red flag, and I'm over it. We're not going down that path. We're not. This is going to stop. And we don't have to use the law to do it. Okay? As much as I somewhat agree on some of the things, like the people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and the well, I've never listened to Tucker Carlson, but they say about this subject, and they're being called stochastic terrorists. I hate a lot of what they talk about because I'm not a Republican. I'm not conservative. We disagree vehemently on a lot of things, but on this one, no chance at all. This will end, and it will end immediately, very soon. It's being exposed. Keep going. Keep up the fight. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me on the new show that I've just introduced called Off the Wire. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the share button. Word of mouth is still the best way to make a podcast or any show successful or any business successful. Word of mouth. Tell your friends, tell your family. Watch the show, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere you can get your podcast. Please sub to my YouTube channel. I'm so close to 1,000. It's free for you, and I can start getting monetized. I'm on anchor.fm. That's what shoots all the podcasts out to these to the aforementioned platforms, and I get 1 cent a download. 1 cent a download. So even if you don't like the show, leave me a 5-star review. Give me a written review and subscribe. Put the show on some obscure device. Turn it off if you don't want to hear it, but every show gets 1 cent a download. Henry, Blake, turn on notifications. Yes, please. Turn on your notifications. Chris has 6 new subscribers this episode. Freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Chris, thank you so much, man. I wish I could get to all of your comments, but we are well out of time. I really try to keep it on at an hour, but this was a very important episode, very special episode with my daughter. Yes, we're mutuals on Twitter. That's awesome. Jaden, tell everybody you love them and bye. And I'm probably going to have you on again, I'm sure, if you want to. Did you like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Then I'll definitely have you on again.
Oh,
she's obviously very intelligent, very smart, she's very sharp. She's getting informed. And we need to hear what the youth has to say. We really have to. So tell everybody bye. You love them, and we'll see them soon.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, I guess.
Totally did. All right. I love you very much. Now you're good.
Sorry,
I love
I substituted the dog.
It's a good joke.
Sorry.
Yeah, Chris says doggo next time, though. Well, we might pull her in there, too. So thank you all very much. I love you very much, each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me on Off the Wire. And we will see you very soon. Same Cajun time, same Cajun channel. And we are out.